Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Matri Dandat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, are you going to start Ramayana anytime soon?
I don't know. Maybe sometime in future.
Okay.
I saw devotees expressed eagerness.
Yeah.
Just finding just a matter of finding a right time.
Mm.
Maybe give me some more time.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Mataji, we will start. Yeah, we will start at 10:10 today. I mean, you can be on the call, but I'm in
Okay.
middle of something. But yeah, in 10:10 we'll start.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Thank you. I'm ready to start. Maybe one of you can message in the group that we are starting.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranamata.
Then
Maybe you can put a message that we are ready to start.
Prabhuji, I can't send my phone. My daughter took my phone today. She's out of station. I'll
Oh,
come with
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
come with it. Yeah, can you
Yes.
send me message? Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, I see this already. Somebody has added a message.
Okay.
you can send that
Did
we are
not.
starting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपाकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। So today we are reading from Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23 we will be covering. It is Devahuti's lamentation. So last week we discussed the meeting of sage Kardaba Muni with Swayambhuva Manu, his wife Satyarupa, and one daughter Devahuti they came. And Swayambhuva, last to last chapter, we saw how Kadava Muni described how the king is a representative of the Lord, just how the Lord is maintained, the king is maintained. Then the last chapter we saw after glorifying, the Muni said, Kadava Muni said, "Oh dear um, uh, Swayambhuva Manu, You are so busy doing the work of the Supreme Lord, yet you have taken time to come to me. I shall do whatever you say without reservation. Um, then Manu started glorifying Kardama Muni that you are the Brahmanas, the head of the society. You are the one who, um, being learned, give direction to the kings and the Kshatriyas. We are absorbed, but you, because you are completely absorbed in self-realization, you give us direction in that way. Um, and how Kshatriyas and Brahmanas, they protect and support each other. Then Manu said, I have come with this daughter. The moment she heard about you from Narada Muni, she lost her mind uh, thinking about you. And now I have seen you, I have become very much satisfied. Mm, please accept her in marriage. She is very chaste. She has not given her heart to anybody else. She is very beautiful. She will satisfy you by rendering service as per your desires. Very qualified. And then Manu also said one should accept a wife that comes by its own accord. Um, yeah. Then Swayambhuva Manu, along with his wife, after giving the daughter to Kadava Muni, they um, um, departed um, on the airplane, went back to the kingdom, and he performed yajna. He personally worshipped the Lord, and how he ruled the subject is in a very devotional way. And he also taught his citizens how to be devotional in their own duties. And we saw how Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, how Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Sun God, and Sun God spoke to um, Vivaswan. Sun God is Vivaswan, and he spoke to Manu, and how Manu is passing on this knowledge, and we saw how he's teaching his subjects. So now we come to this chapter, which is mm, the lamentation of Devahuti. So now the parents have left. Now only Kadama and Devahuti are alone in the hermitage. And Devahuti started serving Kadama Muni. Um, she would serve him constantly with the following qualities. She was very chaste, sadhavi. She would understand the desire of her husband, um, mm, and would act in that way. Whatever her husband wants, she would understand. Because she was also very accomplished spiritually. Um, and when there is a loving relationship now, the uh, Paramatma connection helps. Mm, Especially when we love somebody, it becomes easy to understand what they need, like a mother can understand what the child needs. So she could understand what the husband needs and she would act accordingly. She would serve her husband with great love, preeti, great intimacy, um, with the purity of mind and body. She would serve her husband with great respect. This is very nice, actually. Um, Nowadays, especially, relationship where respect loses soon. But here we see she served her husband with great respect. One thing that a husband actually expects from wife is respect. Hmm. If you respect the husband, he'll be happy. But many times, many problem comes because um, wife doesn't respect the husband. I mean, of course, it's both ways. But from husband point of view, you can please them if you just do everything with respect. Then she had perfect sense control. Kardama Muni is a sage, and uh, remember the Lord, practice devotional service to the Lord. And Devahuti may have many desires, but perfect sense control and just serving, 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 serving. She served her husband with great love. She served her husband with sweet words. Vacha madhurya, sweet words. Actually, that's how, like it shows like the ideal quality of a wife. Sweet words, sense control, great respect, intimacy, great love, chastity, understanding the desire of the husband. Um, she she gave up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities. Greed. She would not want anything for herself, would not demand anything. Uh, Pride. She would just humbly serve her husband. Giving up lust, would not have any desire, just other than what will please, through sweet words, through love, through intimacy, just serve, serve, serve. Um, Whatever that husband desires, just execute it. So for many years, we served um, uh, Kardava Muni in this way. And Apramatta, matta means mad, mad means mind somewhere else. Apramatta means she worked very consciously, sanely, very attentively. She served the desires of her husband. Diligently she served. Um, and she served all these qualities for a very long time. And because of that, Devahuti, being sense controlled, she started neglecting her own body. So she became very weak and emaciated and working very hard, not thinking about her own eating and sleeping. Very hard actually, not thinking about one's own eating and sleep. Wow. She became very weak and emaciated by service. And she was expecting some blessings from him. And what kind of blessing she was expecting? She actually wanted a child. It is said, when a chaste woman, for a chaste woman, having a child is like a like greatest joy kind of. So she was serving, and she was expecting some blessings from her husband. And this is like many years, long time. It doesn't mention how many decades. But that time they would live for 100,000 years, no? So maybe at least few thousand years, and she just served, seeing her condition. And Kadava Muni was not her relationship was Devahuti was not based on Devahuti's beauty. She actually lost her beauty. Her hairs are like covered with um, mud. Uh, her body was discolored. Mm. Like her beauty, just like everything was covered. Um, Usually, husbands are very happy when the wife is beautiful or when she looks beautiful, and maybe not so happy otherwise. But here we see that the relationship between Kadava Muni and Devahuti was based on seva. But when Kadava Muni, he was just very absorbed Kadava Muni in a devotional way. But when he could understand, just like the wife could understand the desire of her husband, and she would not desire anything for a long time. She didn't desire any perfect mind and sense control, just serving. And this time she was desiring. She was expecting something. And naturally, Kardava Muni also, like naturally, if somebody serves, one becomes obliged. So Kardava Muni was very much obliged and kind of indebted, grateful, um, um, and he was being served with great love and sweet words and intimacy. So naturally, that closeness was there. So when he saw that she sad, Kardava Muni became filled with compassion. By seva, na, you can actually purchase the person. The person, whoever the person may be, that person can be purchased by seva. Likewise, Kada Muni was likewise. So, seeing a little bit sadness in Devahuti, he became filled with compassion. And he told Devahuti that I am very pleased with you. You have served me without caring for your own body, and for which is like most dear to all people. Everybody, there is this word, na, selfishness. Selfishness means I comes first. My body, my needs comes first. Well, it is very easy to say, but it's like a super ingrained. uh, uh, anartha, maybe within some of us. So the body and the bodily comforts and the bodily needs are like most dear to all people. And my dear Devahuti, you have neglected all those in uh, rather you served me without caring for anything. So I'm very pleased and deeply indebted. Um, um, all the blessings, and then Kadamuni gives the blessings. He was expecting something. So first Kadamuni gives this. Kadamuni says, um, um, hmm, whatever I have, Kadamuni was like had lot of mystical powers also. We will see that. So Kadamuni says, whatever I have attained, whatever I have through my devotion, through austerity, through meditation, through my Krishna consciousness, whatever I have attained, I offer them all to you now. Whatever I have attained, I offer them to you now. All blessings upon to you. Naturally, um, um, our self-realized soul can give us perfection if they are very pleased with us. Um, that's why when spiritual master is pleased, lot of spiritual advancement comes very easy, because whatever perfection they have attained, they can give it to us like this. And Kadava Muni, here is an example. He gave whatever he has obtained through austerity, Krishna consciousness, meditation. He said, I offer them to you all as a blessings. Um, and what is the use of any other enjoyment other than the Lord's grace? All material enjoyments are temporary. But what I'm giving you is like basically grace of the Lord. Everything else is temporary in this world. Um, and all material achievements can be destroyed by the movement of the Lord's eyebrow. I mean, whatever we have worked very hard to attain, the Lord will just move the eyebrow and everything will be taken away. So the greatest happiness is actually receive the grace of the Lord. And you have achieved that transcendental gift because of your devotion to your husband. Devahuti, hearing this, she was very satisfied. Um, uh, her face was now shining. Um, she has a bashful glance, like she's looking like um, bashful with shyness. She was glancing with a slight smile, and Kadavamuni said, naturally, she is trying to please her husband. And when the husband speaks like words like, I'm very grateful to you, I'm very pleased with you, um, like just selflessly she's serving without any expectation. So these words are also very um, uh, very like means a lot to Devahuti, that people can do anything for their own body and their own needs and demands, but you have given everything just to serve me. So it's like naturally a wife. So um, she was very satisfied, and she had a choked voice, and she replied in a choked voice, and she said, "Please fulfill the promise of giving me children." She said. Actually, it is said the wife doesn't need a good job or a good income compared to children and love for her husband. That's what satisfies a woman. Um, naturally, she will work if there is a need, and she will deal with the world. But what satisfied her internally is um, the desire for a child and uh, faithful husband, a loving husband. So she was very, um, yeah. So she said, "Please fulfill the promise of giving me children." And Kadava Muni, before the marriage only, he said, "After giving you children, I will leave." And it's been like many long years and no conversation on that. And her desire was growing, and that was her only desire. other than selfless service. Other than that, only selfless service. So please give me children. Um, my body has become emaciated and unfit for you. Um, 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 Please make my body suitable for your pleasure. um, and a suitable house for it also. She was also not having a house like a jhoparpatti hut. She was staying in half of the time outside under a tree. She was living with a sage basically. Um, um, Kadamba, and Kadamba Muni was like indebted, so he wanted to do whatever he could to please Devahuti, because naturally, if one accepts so much service, one wants to reciprocate. Just like when we realize how much Krishna is doing for us, and how kind Krishna is, then we want to reciprocate. And how much our gurus have done for us, then we want to reciprocate. And how much the devotees are doing for us, and we want to reciprocate. So we are naturally indebted. And this path of bhakti is a path of being indebted and then reciprocating, and then again being indebted and then reciprocate, and then reciprocating with that what we have received. So it's like a path of fulfillment in a way. We receive so much and we give so much, and very um, yeah, it's amazing. So she said, my body is unfit for you, because she was very feeling very ashamed that I want to serve my husband and see my body, what has become of it. So Kardava Muni, in order to fulfill her desire, first thing he did is he created a aerial mansion. Means a seven-story building on a plane, and there were many kind of palaces in the plane. There's a description of the plane, huge palaces, and this plane like huge plane like a city. And he created that aerial mansion, and that would fly wherever Kadava Muni likes. At his will it would fly. Devahuti was naturally amazed by seeing the mystical power of Kadava Muni. Then there is a description of the aerial mansion. It says all kind of jewels were there. Now, if we see, many times ladies may be attached to jewels, maybe not devotees though, but generally people have so much competition on what kind of har they are wearing. Um, um, Devotees are actually very simple. Um, but Devahuti saw all. It's like all sort of jewels are in the walls, um, um, adorned with pillars of precious stones. The pillars, there were many. Like it's a mansion. The pillars were embedded with precious stones. There were many artistic work, flags, festoons, like cloths hanging around, like very decorated with multicolored cloths, um, wreaths of charming flowers, which attracted sweetly humming bees. So they were like these palaces is surrounded by these vines and flowering decorations, naturally growing from the airplane, ground on the airplane. It's like mystical actually. And it's open structure filled with jewels, natural light, and all the bees are humming around the palace over the multicolored flowers. Um, the building has all necessary paraphernalia, um, full of wealth. Whatever is desired was available in that. The environment was pleasing in all the seasons. There were tapestries of linen, silk, and other fabrics. Um, there were beds, couches, fans, and seats arranged in all the seven stories. There were artistic engravings on the walls. The flooring was made with emerald and coral dices, like basically precious gems. Um, and the entrance was also coral, made with coral gemstones. The doors were embedded with diamonds. Um, the domes were made of gold. I mean, we just can't imagine. The rubies were set in the diamond walls. Um, it is said the walls seem to possess eyes. Rubies are like bluish, na? So diamond is like white. So among in the diamond wall, the wall was made of diamond. And there were some blues like many eyes on the walls. Seems like that. There were wonderful canopies, valuable gates of gold. There were many living entities like pigeons and live pigeons and swans. There were lakes, and swans, pigeons, um, and the place was vibrated with the sounds of these birds. There was pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, inner courtyard, outer courtyard. Um, uh, so this kind of description is given in few verses of the aerial mansion that Kadamuni created. And when Kadamuni looked at what he created, Kadamuni himself was amazed. Wow. He just desired Kadamuni's mystical power. He just desired the most beautiful palace for my wife, Devahuti, because he was so indebted and grateful. Um, and such a thing manifested, and Kadamuni is looking at the beauty of it, like, wow, what a creation. Um, and he looked at Devahuti after creating this aerial mansion. It's for you, because she said a suitable house. She was like, yeah, she's so humble, free from all the pride and everything, and uh, always so gentle and caring. And Kadavani just wanted to give himself to her, and he says, "Here is the palace for you," but she was not happy. Um, and it is said that Kadava Muni understood why she is not happy. She was not happy because she was very dirty, uh, and body became very thin and lean and weak, um, um, and just serving. She was like, um, so um, Kadava Muni understood her desire. Kadava Muni said, "Here is a lake." He showed next to her, here is a lake called Bindu Sarovar, which was created by Lord Vishnu himself. Um, Please take your bath in this lake, and all your desires will be fulfilled. So Devahuti entered that lake. It is said her hairs are matted, her body emaciated, her clothes were dirty, and her breasts were discolored. Um, then, when she entered inside the lake, uh, she saw there was a house within the lake. Um, she entered the house, and within the house, she saw um, 1,000 young girls who were as fragrant as lotuses, very beautiful young girls. And they were waiting for Devahuti. Devahuti entered, and they all 1,000 young girls, they folded their hands and they told her that we are your servants. What we can do for you? And Devahuti head was down, and she was just very sad, um, because she felt like I'm not suitable for my husband. Um, so the girls, understanding Devahuti's desire, they first bathed Devahuti. Like, it is said, last chapter we were seeing, Kadavamuni says that Devahuti, she's so beautiful that when the leader of the Gandharvas saw her playing the bowl on the terrace of her palace, he fell down from the airplane. She was so exquisitely beautiful, but because she neglected, she lost. Uh, and now, um, she didn't say anything. So the girls understood. So they bathed Devahuti with valuable oils. They put on new cloth on her, um, um, ointments on her limbs, um, um, excellent jewels. They gave her a sweet drink to drink. Basically, it's called asavam. They gave her good food. They prepared her, and dressed, ornamented, and fragrant oils and cleansed, and the hairs were also decorated. Then they brought a mirror in front of Devahuti, and Devahuti saw that she was clean, she was well dressed, she had a garland, she was decorated with a tilak also. Amazing. Um, all the ornaments on her special necklaces, she had bangles, golden anklets. Uh, she has beautiful teeth, she has charming eyes, she has beautiful eyebrows, and wonderful decorated hairs. So she was very pleased to see herself, not because it is said a girl dresses herself for the pleasure of her husband. So she was very pleased because she was feeling that I'm not good enough for my husband. He's such a yogi, and what happened to me in a way. But she was very pleased, and all she remembered when she saw herself, she remembered her husband. She's a Pradivata, basically. So she saw herself and she remembered her husband. As soon as she remembered her husband, she was immediately transported to the place where he was standing. And she just saw him standing in front of him. And she was amazed to see the yogic powers of her husband. Wow, he just created this mansion and then he sent me within this water with 1,000 servants. And now I remembered him, and then now I'm standing in front of him, and all the servants are behind me, ready to serve me. What kind of mystical power my husband has. She regained her original beauty as a princess, and even more. Um, um, uh, it is said that when one is happy, now one becomes even more beautiful. Um, and in front of her, and that's why there is a saying in when Krishna stands in front of Shrimati Radharani, his beauty increases. And seeing the beauty of Krishna, Shrimati Radharani becomes so happy that her beauty increases. Seeing the beauty of Shrimati Radharani, Sri Krishna becomes so happy and his beauty further increases. And seeing his beauty, she becomes so happy and her beauty further increases. Keeps going on for eternity. So when she saw her husband, um, she became even more beautiful. Then Kadaba Muni, um, like with his hands, he took her um, with increased fondness, and he placed her on the aerial mansion. Please uh, come to this aerial mansion. um, it seems like now Kadava Muni is like Maitya Muni is telling here. Seems that he was very attached to his wife. It seems, but the sage did not lose his glory as a self-controlled person. And Kadava Muni was doing this actually to please Devahuti because he's indebted. Um, so it seemed like he showing so much love and affection to his wife, but he did not lose his glory as a self-controlled person. And Kadavuni was surrounded by 1,000 young girls. Um, Kadavuni, like, full sense controlled actually. Uh, but he was alone man in the mansion actually. There is Devahuti and 1,000 young girls were there. And he looked like a moon surrounded by many stars. Means still Kadavuni was so shiny, and the sage did not lose his glory. Then Kadamamuni, by his mind, he ran the aerial mansion. They visited the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, celestial gardens like Surasana, Nandana, Pushpabhadraka, Chaitra Vaishrambhaka, Manasa Sarovar Lake. So he took Devahuti. Devahuti has so many servants, 1,000 servants, and he took her to all these places. It is said where Devatas also cannot go, or what Devatas cannot enjoy also. Um, Kadamuni gave that pleasure to Devahuti. Errol mentioned everything very comfortable, all the needs and desires are fulfilled. Uh, Food and drink and loving husband and servants and a mansion and jewels, etc. Ornaments, whatever they were, he gave everything to Devahuti just by his mystical powers. Um, that Devatas cannot afford also the kind of happiness. Kadamani gave it to Devahuti. Then Maitya Muni says nothing is impossible for devotees. Um, um, he says, what is difficult to achieve for a person who has taken shelter of lotus feet of the Lord? Because Kadamuni took full shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, this is like a byproduct. And Kadamuni says, whatever I have achieved is yours now. He gave that to Devahuti also. And he's showing his, like, he's just using everything to please her, in reciprocation to the selfless service she has rendered. So after taking Devahuti throughout the globe of the universe, then Kadava Muni returned to his ashram. Now, what is ashram? A jhopar only. Basically, he returned there. Um, then in this way, Kadava Muni gave lot of pleasure and fulfilled all the desires of Devahuti. He and Devahuti enjoyed each other's association for many years, and that time passed just like a moment. And it is said, how long did they enjoy together? 100 autumns passed like a moment. 100 autumns means basically 100 years, and they long time they stayed together and um, um, enjoyed each other's association. Then Kardama Muni divided himself into 9 forms, and he impregnated Devahuti with 9 discharges of semen. That same day, Devahuti gave birth to 9 beautiful daughters. Same day. Um, for Kadava Muni, um, he doesn't need to impregnate Devahuti and wait for 9 months. Same day, he impregnated her 9 times in 9 different forms, um, and she gave birth to 9 beautiful daughters, and those daughters became big right away and became grown up right away. So in this way, Kadavamuni fulfilled his promise of impregnating Devahuti, which he made in the previous chapter in front of her father, that I will give her children and then I will leave. So now Kadavamuni was thinking that my duty is now over. I gave my words that I will impregnate you and then give you a child, and then I will go. And then he fulfilled his duty as a husband, his duty to give child, and he felt good. Um, now he wanted to focus back on his real concern of spiritual realization. And so he made a proposal of leaving home. Um, but Devahuti, like, so many years, 100 years, she is with her husband, all her desires are fulfilled, whatever she needs is there. Um, she was super happy with Kadava Muni. And now she saw all of a sudden when she has 9 daughters, now he saw that he is ready to leave. And Devahuti was externally smiling outwardly, but superly pained at heart, very painful, like a shooting pain that the husband is leaving. But outwardly, she like, in this way, she is smiling outwardly when she saw the husband was about to leave home. This also shows the nature of Devahuti. She is so mild and gentle that she is not even speaking. Uh, but she's trying to, she's so pained at heart, still she's trying to please her husband and not show her pain to the husband, um, or becoming angry or giving him instructions, or but she's like, he's leaving, she's so pained, and outwardly she's smiling, and he's going, and she, this this shows a gentle nature that's relevant to a saintly persons. Then she could not bear. This shows that her mind and senses were so controlled that she was not letting her emotions come out. She could tolerate them, um, but then her mind was raging, um, that the husband is leaving, and she was thinking like, "What will I do now? My whole life is meant. Previously, I was under the care of my father, Swambhuva Manu. Now I'm under the care of my husband. And now these 9 daughters are born, and my husband will leave me. Then what will I do in this forest? What will I do?" Um, so she told her husband, she said, "My lord, you have fulfilled all the promises that I asked for you. Please, you have given me everything. Before you go, um, give me fearlessness also." So, give me fearlessness also means give me the strength. So, she's still like, give me fearless, because she was like, what will I do once he leaves and I'm alone in this forest? Then she said, after you go to forest, your daughters will find their suitable husband and go away. But who will give me solace? And I'll be alone here. Um, मतलब एक एक स्त्री अकेले फॉरेस्ट में नेचुरली घबराने वाली बात है. It's like scary or fearful. So the daughters will go and I will be alone without any shelter. What will I do? Who will give me solace? Who will give me shelter? So she actually indirectly she is asking for a son. Um, she's still like, if my husband wants to go, she's like, she's not questioning that or stopping that, but she's like, give me a shelter before you go, because the daughters will go and I'll be alone. And then she started lamenting, um, Devahuti. And what she was lamenting for, she said, I have spent uh, so many years with you, and I did not cultivate a knowledge of the Supreme Lord through all these years. And I have passed so many years uselessly in sense gratification. She was very happy, and she said, I have passed all these years uselessly in sense gratification and did not cultivate knowledge of the Supreme Lord. And I did not, I not knowing your greatness, I have associated with you while being attached to enjoyment. Still, you should bestow fearlessness upon me. And then she gives a reason. This is nice. She said, association of materialists done in ignorance is a cause of bondage, but association with devotees, even if performed in ignorance, leads to liberation. So she's telling, if one associate with a materialist, um, material association is a cause of bondage, but association of devotees, even if one does not realize they are devotees, still it is a cause of liberation. Association of devotees, not knowing who they are, still it is super beneficial. I did not realize you, but at least I associated with you. So please give me fearlessness before you go. She's lamenting that I spent so much time with you and I did not focus on the real thing. You are a Muni, you are a sage, completely self realized. And I never inquired from you about the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Rather, I was just looking for my enjoyment. And so many years have passed, and you did whatever I asked you for. And now you are leaving. I did not, I mean, I have lost the opportunity. Um, a great saint, what he can give, the spiritual perfection, the process. I have lost that opportunity, and I simply enjoyed with you. And now you are going. But association of devotees, even if one doesn't realize their potency, still it's a cause of liberation. So please, um, um, then the second last verse. That's why this chapter, name of this chapter is Devahuti's lamentation. So here Devahuti is lamenting. Um, she wanted children. 9 daughters are there. Um, her body was emaciated. She became the most beautiful woman. Again, she want a house. She got a aerial mansion, which is there to use whenever you want. What kind of opulence? All the opulences are there. Servants, 1,000 young girls as servants. Needs anything you want, it's there. Whether ornaments or clothes or whatever you need is there. Everything is perfect. But she's like, if you go, then I daughters will go. What will I do? I lost the opportunity in all these things. and I did not take advantage of your association. Still, devotee association is beneficial, leads to liberation. So please give me fearlessness before you go. Um, then she says that he whose it's like she's speaking Shastra actually, philosophy. She says whose life is useless. She's speaking about a person whose life is useless, a living corpse, like a living dead body. Who is a living dead body? She says, he whose actions does not lead to dharma, means what they are doing is not dharmic. Their actions does not lead to dharma, and whose dharma does not lead to vairagya. And if they do duties as per religious principles, ideally that should lead to the purpose of following dharma is detachment. It should lead to vairagya. But when we do things for enjoyment and not dharmic, it will lead to bondage. But when we follow religious principles, it will lead to vairagya. Like for us, dharma is like um, what pleases Krishna. Na? And dharma to sakshat bhagavad pranita. And Krishna says, dharma is like surrender unto me, or doing things, keeping Krishna in the center. Um, so, dharma will lead to detachment to material things. So she is telling actions should lead to Krishna. Like it is said in Bhagavatam that when our actions does not increase our attachment to Krishna, then it is called as kind of useless labor. The actions, the efforts is useless labor if those things does not cultivate our attraction to Krishna. So she is telling whose actions does not lead to dharma, and dharma does not lead to vairagya, should lead to material detachment and spiritual cultivation. But dharma that does not lead to vairagya, and vairagya that does not lead to service of the Lord. And what do we do by becoming detached from this world? Is we have to become attached to Krishna. We have to be attached somewhere. And then if we are attached to Krishna, then we are eager to serve Krishna. So whose vairagya does not lead to service of the Lord, that person is living just like a corpse. And then last verse she said, my Lord, Kardava Muni, surely I have been solidly cheated by Maya. For in spite of having obtained your association which gives liberation, I did not seek such liberation. So she's like, because of illusory energy of the Lord, I had a saint as my husband who could give me liberation. And I used the saint only for my pleasure, um, and not for, uh, and did not seek liberation. So I have been thoroughly cheated by Maya, by illusory energy. Uh, and she was lamenting, alas, now my husband is leaving and I did not take advantage of his association. So this is Devahuti's lamentation. Or we can also say that she was ready for transcendental knowledge. Um, and to give, she was very eager to be liberated, become detached from this material world, and develop relationship with the Lord, and receive transcendental knowledge and find the Lord. She was ready for it, and she was lamenting why I did not use your association to get those things. Rather, because of illusory energy, I was just looking for my enjoyment only in my life with you. I did not take advantage of association. Such a great saint, and to fulfill that desire of Devahuti, Lord Kapila appears in the next chapter. Um, and yeah, that's the next chapter. Okay, are there any discussions? Anybody would like to add anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mantri Hare Krishna.
It was such a beautiful session. Yes. I was just wondering, in today's world, um, like we can't have that kind of relationship with anybody. And I don't know if you have any suggestions. I feel like if you do that, like if you, then people consider you a doormat and they, disrespect. So what's the way around?
Well, um, uh, it's both ways. Na? This particular age, if we see, the husbands are also not like Ardhamamuni, if we see from one sense. And
Yeah.
it's just the age is it's just going down. How the time is progressing, things are not becoming so pure anymore. But at the same time, the values of grihasthashram and the relationship between husband and wife and duties that we can see from Shrimad Bhagavatam. But my understanding in this day and age, as an individual soul, the relationship is based on seva. At the same time, we as individuals should seek to reawaken our individual relationship with Lord Krishna. Not everybody will be interested, and that becomes our prime duty, especially in this age.
Mm. Yeah,
Become
makes
become Krishna conscious yourself and help others. But this is Mahaprabhu's mission.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother. Hare
Hare Krishna.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Landak Pranam Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Your
So,
husband is here.
yes, Prabhuji.
हाँ बताइए.
So, the purpose of Kapil Dev's appearance is only to give the knowledge to all general people or something else also.
Yes, the path of devotion, the path of Sankhya, to propagate, to help Devahuti. Devahuti was eager for self-realization. She felt she lost the opportunity. So the Lord, when he saw her desire, he himself appeared because she was ready for the next step. He himself appeared. He gave her liberation. He gave her knowledge. She became liberated. Pure devotee she became. And through her, we all get to hear the message of the Lord. So after the week after next week, we will start with the teachings of Lord Kapila to Mother Devahuti, like the Lord, how he, um, for a soul who is ready, when they hear the teachings of Lord Kapila, the effect will be like Mother Devahuti. She was like completely ready. He came to give the knowledge to all of us through her. Just like Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. Likewise, Lord Kapila spoke Sankhya philosophy. Krishna says Sankhya philosophy is also good for liberation as devotional service. But we will see in Sankhya philosophy also, Lord Kapila propagates the devotional path the most.
But like Bhagavad Gita, how it's divided into three sections, and the middle section is the core devotional service related. So, like that, this is not directly giving the path, but like Sankhya philosophy is basically most knowledge-based theory, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
philosophy-based, right?
there is a lot of philosophy certainly in this. Sometimes it's difficult to understand that philosophy also, but a lot of devotional element are also there.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji, for
We
explanation.
will see. Yeah, we will see those teachings and we'll have more clarity. Krishna will. It's very
Thank you,
complex.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you. And just please don't sleep when we discuss Lord Kapila's teachings because it's like it's a little complex. Okay, anybody else? All
No
right.
questions, Prabhuji. Sorry, no questions, but thank you so much for such a wonderful class.
And again, reiterating what all we should be looking forward, to the best of our abilities in our grahastha life, because sometimes not sometimes, most of the times we really fall short of all those. I mean, speaking for myself, all those good qualities that you have just talked about, just being so impatient. But thank you so much. Very grateful.
Thank you. God bless you very much. Okay, dear Prabhuji's Mataji's Dhanvar Pranam, Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo. Anantagoti Vaishnava. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Thank you very much. Mata. Hare Krishna. Thank you.